Daily Bread Mailbag. Canelo Alvarez-Terence Crawford special. I'll keep this short, or that we know your Canelo-Terence Crawford pick, but did the final press conference or weigh-in give you any more insight about how you think the fight might go? Why has the promotion and build-up of the fight been somewhat underwhelming, at least as of the time I wrote this? Turkey Alashik is insisting Crawford continue his career if he wins and not drop the mic. Assuming Bud wins and keeps fighting, despite having nothing more to prove in the sport and being financially set, who should be next? We have seen historically how dangerous it is for fighters to drop all the way back down in weight. I'm out. Enjoy the fight. Bread's response. Nothing has changed my mind about the outcome of the fight, but something did change my mind about how Crawford will fight. At first I expected him to box and move more. Now I expect him to box and move early, but attack and press Canelo as the fight wears on. I've been watching videos of Canelo, and it's not hard to push him to the ropes. I think he's comfortable there, but I also think it's where Crawford is going to want him. Let's see who has their way. I thought the promotion was excellent. The world is talking about the fight, so the promoters did their job. My mom called me and told me she's going to watch it. I can't say who should be next for Crawford. Let's see what happens in his fight versus Canelo first. This is no easy fight, and talking about who's next is disrespectful to Canelo. Hey, Brad, I know there have been a lot of predictions coming in about the Bud and Canelo fight, but I wanted to throw my hat into the ring. I think Bud fights on the outside and moves the majority of the fight. I know he has the speed and IQ. If Canelo cannot consistently counter, I think he will get frustrated as he did versus William Skull. I know it's not a style that he is used to, but if Anthony Joshua can switch it up for one fight like he did in the Andy Ruiz rematch, Bud could effectively do the same. I'm not trying to compare the fighters, but only that style. What do you think? I will add, after seeing pictures of Bud, I feel less sure of him fighting on the outside. He looks like he's ready for war, and I hope that does not sap his energy. I think Bud wins a wide, clear decision, 9-3. Corey, Iowa Bread's response. I have seen Bud box and move and show that layer of his game. I watched his fight versus Victor Postal. He was sublime, and for some reason, that performance gets overlooked. I've seen Bud's demeanor. I've heard a few comments. I saw a video of Canelo sparring the Cuban World Amateur Champion. I think Bud attacks Canelo more than most would imagine. Bud's instincts allow him to know when and when not to attack. He may have the best instincts in the game. Hello, Breadman. Maybe a bit of a different question, but I wonder when you pick your fighter's walkout music, do you let them hear it beforehand or only on the night of the fight? Your idea about Crawford forcing exchanges is interesting. I could see him hitting Canelo, stepping back to make a miss, then landing again, repeatedly, with some feints mixed in. I've been too busy to study and make a more detailed pick, but I'm sticking with Crawford by any method. Much respect. Bread's response. If my fighter allows me to pick their walkout music, sure, I want them here at first. Not only that, I want them to understand why I picked the music. I think Crawford forcing Canelo into exchanges is the key. While Canelo is viewed as the puncher in the fight, I also believe that throwing more than he wants to can fatigue him. Canelo has been conservative with his energy lately, and if he's forced into heavy exchanges early, I expect Crawford to go for a stoppage late. If Terence Crawford beats Saul Canelo, Alvarez, I believe his career resume will have surpassed Floyd Mayweather's. The number of titles will be similar. The names on the resume will favor Mayweather. But, let's be honest, Mayweather was never an underdog in any fight he's ever had. He never challenged himself against a fighter he wasn't supposed to beat. He never moved up to a weight class he didn't have business being in. Crawford is doing all of that against Alvarez. If Crawford wins, he's just better than Mayweather. Do you agree? Bread's response. The Mount Rushmore of fighters of my lifetime is Sugar Ray Leonard, Pernell Whitaker, Roy Jones Jr., and Floyd Mayweather. If Crawford wins this fight, people will say that he can sit at that table. I won't say if he would have had a better career than Floyd, because there are too many things to factor and I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. I would have to analyze their accomplishments, titles, awards, etc., competition faced and missed, the eyeball test, who would win head-to-head, and who responds to adversity better. I also don't want to get too far ahead myself. Bud has to win the fight first. What's up, Brad? I'm really looking forward to the Canelo-Crawford fight. I haven't been this excited about a fight in a while. Maybe not since the Spence-Crawford fight. Anyway, Crawford has become quite the puncher. I know you defined different types of punchers in the past, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but Crawford is like a slashing-type puncher. Most his KO shots are counter punches, but usually a kind of an unorthodox shot. The KO shot against Jose Benavidez was like a right hook-uppercut hybrid. He dropped Spence with a counter jab. A couple of the times he hurt Spence was with a counter punch while he was being hit. Just really unusual. At the time, the punches don't really look like much, but you can see the damage. His shots really bust guys up. He doesn't appear to have the heaviest hands, either. He kind of like slashes guys up. It's really hard to describe. So, my question is, how would you define him as a puncher? Thanks and God bless. Bread's response. Many years ago on my mailbag, I was asked to specify types of punchers. I described 5 types of punchers and gave examples of each. The bludgeon crew, George Foreman. Heavy-handed debilitators, Gennady Golovkin. Speed thudders, Joe Louis. Swordsman, Tommy Hearns. Electric slashers, Sugar Ray Robinson. If you ask me to describe Bud Crawford's power punching style, I would say he fits into the electric slashers the most. But I have noticed, I think he takes some of the oomph off of his shots on purpose, and then he throws the same shot the same way, with extra oomph, which is very deceptive. I think his hands are heavy when he wants them to be. I don't know if he's what you call heavy-handed, but I do think he takes off and adds power at his leisure to his shots. He's a very gifted and unique puncher. Greetings, Breadman. What are your thoughts on Sebastian Fundora Keith Thurman? I'm not hating on the fight, but it sure seems like Thurman gets a lot of negativity. Edwin, Idaho Bread's response. I view this fight as 60-40 in Fundora's favor. I believe Fundora can be hit with looping shots. He was KO'd brutally by Brian Mendoza with looping shots. He was also hit by several looping shots by Erickson Lubin and Tim Tszyu. But I also believe Fundora has adjusted his stance and is a fighter who is improving. His technical pressure behind his jab and hard hands will carry Thurman to move faster than he wants to move. In order for Thurman to win, he's going to have to severely hurt Fundora. It's not impossible. We have seen Fundora stopped and dropped, but I think Fundora pulls this one out. Let's say Fundora in.